Now we are going to start the first unit, relativistic mechanics. What is relativity? What is relativity? The theory that deals with the relative motion of body is called theory of relativity. The theory of relativity shows that the classical mechanics is not applicable to body moving with velocity nearer to the velocity of light. So according to classical mechanics, space and time are absolute. The flow of time is assumed to be uniform in all situations, that the moment of time and time interval are identical in all frame of reference, and that similarly length are also identical in all frame. But at the same time, when we discuss this concept are not valid at high velocity according to the quantum mechanics. The theory of relativity provides many new concepts, such as the first concept, which is the length of a moving body. The length of a moving body contracts in the direction of motion. This is the first concept, कि every moving body will contract in the direction of motion. The second concept is all the clock in motion slow down. And third one is our concept is at high speed, space and time. At high speed, space and time are as a continuous system, and the last is the mass of moving body. The mass of moving body is greater than its mass when at rest. So these are the four concepts which provide by the new relativity of theory, and this relativity of theory is based on the quantum mechanics. As we already discussed here, this classical mechanics is, we can explain on the behalf of classical mechanics, and we can explain on the behalf of quantum mechanics. But the question is that classical mechanics is not applicable to explain the relativity mechanics, because this theory is depend on the high speed, high velocity at high speed. So here we discuss on the behalf of quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics, that is also called the modern physics. So here is the question: what is relativity, and how can we explain with the simple way relativistic mechanics? Before we start this chapter, here to be very clear, this totally chapter is a hypothetical. because everything is relative, nothing is absolute in this world. So here we will try to explain so many example and in our surrounding. A very interesting story, a short story, can explain the what is relativity. Once Akbar draw a line on the floor like this, AB. And asked the wise men to shorten the line without rubbing it. Everyone was puzzled that and how it is possible to shorten a line without making a alternation it. At the same time, Birbal come forward and draw the another line like this, CD. I draw another longer CD near the previous one and then ask the king, sir, which of the two lines is shorter? The king at once replied that the line drawn by me is shorter than the line drawn by you. The Birbal smiled and said, my lord, so the line drawn by you has been shortened without rubbing it. So this shows that the length is relative. A line at the same time may be shorter relative to one while longer relative to other. So many examples in our daily life to explain the phenomena of relativity mechanics. We can explain so many other examples with the help of so many examples. Like we have suppose if someone asks whether the ball is large, whether the ball is large or small. If we compare the ball with earth, so here is a, if we compare the ball with earth, if we compare the ball with earth, then we will say that the ball is small. So here is a, this one is ball, and here is a earth, and this is a atom. But if we compare the ball with an atom, then we will say that the ball is large. So this indicates that the size is also relative. As we have previous example, length is relative, but here is example for size is relative. One another example we have, suppose if someone asks what is the time. We are in India, then we will say that here is a 3 p.m. And if we are in America, then at the same instant we will say that the time is 7 p.m. But both time are different. So we cannot answer the question without referring the place. Hence time is also relative. So time is also relative. So that conclude that everything in this world is relative. Nothing is absolute in this world. So we will explain the relativity with the help of this type of surrounding areas example. So relativity that deal with relative motion of body is called theory of relativity.